By the way, Baba Booey is on Letterman tonight. Just a show note. I was annoyed with Baba Booey all weekend.
Why?
Remember years ago when Baba Booey first started working for us, and the press would call up from time to time for a quote from me or from someone. And what is Baba Booey supposed to say?
Call Don Buchwald.
Call Don Buchwald. Is he supposed to say no comment?
Yes, he can say no comment if he wants.
No, not even no comment.
If it's just to him.
He's not even allowed to say no comment.
If it's for you, he says Don Buchwald.
Yeah, he's not even allowed to say no comment.
But if somebody's calling him for a comment, that he can't say no comment?
I told him, call Don Buchwald is all he's allowed to say.
Okay.
I can explain this, by the way.
So Gary now has got a book coming out. They call me Baba Booey, which my wife loved very much. She cried. She was crying.
Yeah.
She was very moved by Gary's story of his brother and stuff. But I'm not going to let that interfere with the moronic quote I read in the fucking paper.
Baba Booey.
So I'm walking out of here, and I don't know, some woman who does publicity here comes up to me, oh, all excited. Gary's in Us Magazine. Gary's in. I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. I don't care if Gary's in Us Magazine. On Thursday, I'm just trying to get the fuck out the door. Gary's in Us Magazine, and they mentioned they call me Baba Booey. I don't give a shit if they mention they call me Baba Booey. I don't care. I don't care about they call me Baba Booey. I hope the book does well. I think the fans will enjoy it. I'm hoping he has a success. But I don't give a fuck. I want to get
Thursday when you're on your way out of here.
Don't bother me with Baba Booey. I had enough Baba Booey by Thursday.
I've been Baba Booeyed all week.
Yeah, I've been Baba Booey to death. So I go home and, Thursday night I'm having a glass of whatever alcohol I can get my hands on.
Get me a drink.
Actually, a bottle of wine that you gave me. Thank you. I've already polished off all those bottles you sent me.
Really?
Yeah, I'm out of my fucking mind.
Wow.
I think I did it one night. No, but, anyway, so I'm having a drink and I'm reading this article about David Arquette and Courtney Cox, which I'm beside myself about because, I really feel David Arquette was a very honest, loving guy who was trying to explain to whoever would listen that he was not a cheater on his wife. And the message still hasn't gotten out there from that conversation he had with us on the air. So I'm reading and, they're going over the phone call, the fact that they worked on Scream 4, that, Courtney might be emotionally involved with her co-star, but, the whole thing, dredging it up again. And I just wish it would go away because I feel bad for David, and I feel bad for Courtney. I really do wish that two of them would get together.
I saw a picture of them together.
Yeah.
That just happened, because they have a daughter, and they went to some event to see her do something.
Right.
I was like, ugh, how painful is that?
The couple who filmed Scream 4 together before separating broke the news to her, meaning their daughter, at a picnic, they told Stern. Arquette told Stern. We explained that a lot of time grown-ups are growing. They need to figure out their lives. Sometimes they take each other having a little space. Stern producer Gary Delafate, author of the upcoming They Call Me Baba Booey, tells Us Magazine, quote, maybe he said a little too much for some people. What I got out of it is that the dude is hurting. Now, David doesn't want to hear that. He doesn't want to hear quotes from Baba Booey keeping this thing going. Why are you quoted? You know what to do.
So can I tell you what happened?
I was out of my fucking mind.
And I looked at it. I wasn't happy with it. Here's what happened.
Yeah.
So I got a publicist for the book, and they said, we got you, we got you on the Letterman show, we got you this, we got you that, we got you on AOL, and Us Weekly wants to do a piece on the book.
Yeah.
So I go, great. So the woman calls me, and we start talking, and she doesn't ask anything about the book at all. So she starts asking me, who's your favorite guest, what's this, and I go, what about the book? She goes, oh, yeah, we're going to mention the book. So within me supposedly doing an interview about my book,
right.
She asked me a bunch of stuff. That was one of the things she asked me about.
Yeah, so you go, no comment. Just say, call Don Buchwald about that. That has nothing to do with me. That's nothing to do with me.
Yeah, I was not happy with the way that looked.
Don't get desperate.
I wasn't. Howard, I made a phone call and I go, oh, I'm talking about the book. And then it just went a different way.
Well, you talk too much anyway. That's why I had to rein you in when I first hired you.
Oh, this is a friend. We're just having a conversation.
No.
I was well aware I was talking to Us Weekly.
He's a yenta.
But that's how it goes. I got an opinion on this. I got an opinion on that.
The nice thing about Gary is he has an opinion on everything. But it's fine for the show where I can, mold him and reel him in and keep tabs on him. When he gets on that phone to the press, that's when I begin to worry.
But I will say this, and again, I'm not happy with it. It wasn't as if they called me and asked me about David Arquette. And I said, this is what it is. It was like we were supposed
Well, they
to.
tricked you.
But they did bring it up.
Yeah, I
They
got
threw
it.
in a couple of questions first and then
Yeah, they
tricked you.
softened you up.
Yeah, just be on guard.
But I wouldn't
If
usually.
he ever commits a crime, forget about it. He'll
But
confess
the point
in
is-
I'll
10
confess in
minutes.
2 minutes, Wolf.
I wouldn't usually take a phone call from Us Weekly to comment on something like that. I
Oh,
would- I
well,
would-
we understand that, but they got
Yeah,
you.
when is this book going to be over? When are you done?
Oh, it's just beginning.
Just beginning.
I got a feeling I'm going to be reading a lot of Baba Booey quotes I'm not happy about.
It hasn't even been released yet.
That's correct.
Have you read the thing yet?
I'm about a third through. Again, rough weekend.
That means she read 10
Get back to it.
pages.
No.
That's what I say, a third. It's usually very gracious.
No, I'm really at a
Well, I
third.
haven't read the final version. I read like one of the drafts.
Yeah.
You'll love it. Starts out, hi, my name is
Hello.
Garrett Delabate.
Baba Booey.
On March 14th, I was born in Uniondale.
Baba Booey.
Gurgle, gurgle.
Go.
Baba Booey.
Beth loved the book. I'm not kidding. She was crying. But there were a couple of parts where she was getting annoyed with the book where like, she goes, Gary's at Record World now, and I don't care. She goes, and Gary's at some radio station? I said, Steve Norton, WLIR, my internship
These
years.
are very important facts to building the wall that is Gary. These are bricks.
For Beth's money, I think she could have left. She would have left all that out and just got stuck with the family. She really liked the family stuff.
The family stuff's very compelling.
But I like the radio
And
stuff.
I enjoyed that.
I'm a radio guy, so I like the radio stuff. And I like Sally Fu. My dad was known as Sally Fu, and he could have been in the mafia. Instead, he sold ice cream.
But then one day, my father did something to somebody, and the other guy was riding in the police car, and he pointed out Sally Fool, so my father was arrested.
Did you read it?
Yeah, of course I
Oh, you
read
did?
it.
Did you?
He must have.
But I'm waiting
Yes,
for the
he
hard
did.
copy
I didn't know if he was-
because my retention with like internet, reading off of the computer screen is very.
Oh,
minimal.
you got
You read it on a computer?
I read it on a computer.
Wow.
It was
Why?
very difficult.
Did Gary
Because
didn't give
there
you a
was
copy?
there were no hard copies at that point.
Did you get to the part where he was at the record store?
Oh yeah.
I got a job at a record store. People would come in, and I would help them find music.
Now, let me ask, because I haven't gotten to that
There
part
was
yet.
one guy
Was
who
there
would stay
reason
there all
for
the time.
Yeah, one guy stayed there all the time.
One day his mother called.
See, you didn't even get to that part, and you know it.
But
And I said, yes, he's there. He's by the Squeezed album.
Did you do phone interviews all day Friday?
I did.
Yeah. Did you? So did you talk about David Arquette on all?
I
of it?
did.
All right. Good.
was there a reason for working at a record store? Like he loved music, or was it just the job he could get?
No, I love music. You know that.
Okay.
In fact, you added some new pages to the book. Beth was showing me like Baba Booey's music picks. Like, I'm not kidding.
cool. That's
There's
cool.
like this list.
This list.
I feel cheated. I didn't get that.
Oh yeah. There's
Oh,
some
just
new.
wait, Fred.
It's like someone at the bookstore at the last minute panicked. I mean, at the book company panicked. You could just
Really?
tell. And then they go, Gary, we need like little boxes and lists of things.
He
That's
was
so not
there.
like how that happened.
Oh, come on.
The songs
not.
are
You threw
available
it
on
in.
iTunes Tunes.
Who
They were
gives
there
a
for the-
fuck what your list is?
No, but I mean, we had those.
Tell Robin what the lists are.
We had those ideas from the beginning. It's just like little things, like it's my favorite songs from the Record World era,
Right.
or
Oh,
my
it's
favorite
so-
jukebox songs.
I
It's-
see.
Music
I
to
see what
flow
he's
by.
doing.
Baba Booey's favorite jukebox moments.
Yeah.
It's
This is an
ridiculous.
E5.
Get that book. What are your favorite? Do you remember your favorite jukebox?
I gotta
moment?
get the
I'd
book.
love to know that.
Download from iTunes.
Eye teeth.
iTunes Tunes.
Fuck her up.
So you're making Robin feel better already.
That's right. I'm
I
laughing.
thought
for
you
the
had a
first
bad
time this
weekend.
week.
Why is she smiling and laughing?
This is the feel-good book of the century. Then I went to school. I could have gone to school at Texas, but instead I went with my ninth choice, Adelphi. This is the abbreviated they call me Baba Booey that a listener actually made. He got the
And
whole
boy,
book.
is that's the right size writing.
What's the listener's name who sent this? Because it's 10 pages long, and you can actually it's so much quicker. This read. I'd release this.
This is the Cliff Notes.
This is the
so-
Cliff Notes. It's great.
Would you like to hear the greatest AM radio
Yeah,
singles
go
of
ahead.
the 70s?
Like, who
Ooh.
cares? Go ahead. What are the greatest AM singles?
Hold on a second.
Then I worked for NBC. I fed traffic up to the helicopter traffic lady, Ross Frank, and she was very mean to me.
Wait, she here for a rude awakening, by the way. Lisa G is trying to track her down.
Oh God,
Who,
where did he
Roz?
find
Yeah.
her?
Which
Leave Ross alone.
that's what I said. I said, listen,
Yeah,
you know
really.
what?
Tell them
it
news
was
department.
it was more that it was such an an important part of my life at that time.
Yeah.
You know, it meant more to me than it did to her.
Sure, she didn't even remember.
And then everybody's like, fuck her. Okay, would you like to hear Record World Playlist circa 1982, 83?
Go ahead.
These are just songs that were, you know, it's just a list. Only Time Will Tell by Asia.
I don't understand what these are your favorites?
These are songs that I like that were big around the time I worked at the record store.
Who would care?
They're trying to paint a
Well,
picture.
they're you know, putting you in. It's a
Right.
contextual thing.
Yeah.
What a waste of
This
paper.
is the soundtrack of my pathetic life.
Some tree had to die for that extra page. Holy
my
cow. I said, when did Gary add that? That wasn't in my draft.
Well, the
Beth goes,
draft.
I
we
don't know.
Stop for that.
You want to hear Baba Booey's top 7 concerts?
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? Okay, what are Baba Booey's top 7 concerts?
Led Zeppelin Physical Graffiti Tour, 1975. Bruce Springsteen, The River Tour, 1980, Nassau Coliseum. The Clash.
Who's going to care about that?
But who's going to care about anything? It's me.
No, I mean, they care about your brother and your mother. Okay, that's an interesting story, but who gives a fuck what your top concerts were? Unless it's in context of the book, which it's not.
But it is in context of the book because I talk about music a lot.
Okay. No, you don't. You worked in a record store.
Who
you
asked
fuck.
for a fucking book review?
Oh, my God.
I didn't ask for a
This
review.
is a book dissection.
Then I got a job on the Howard Stern Show as Howard's boy, Gary. Howard would say, get in here. And I went. I have Fred to thank since he is the one who told me to dress up for my interview.
The pictures in that book, by the way, are very funny.
Howard always noticed that I am a hard worker. And there's Gary asleep at the typewriter. Baba Booey's top favorite number. So are you going on Letterman tonight? Are you nervous?
Look, I mean, a little bit, but not like I'm not like first pitch nervous. Is what I'm
Really?
saying. Yes, I'm a little nervous. It's interesting because I talked to a couple of people over the weekend, Artie being one of them, and I said I'm nervous, and they go, "You should be nervous."
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking.
No, they're
It's
saying you shouldn't walk into Letterman and go
You
like,
should take some heroin.
I didn't say that.
Look, I got a connection down in the Maryland thing. You might want to talk to.
I never understood Artie's drug days when he would drive all the way to Maryland for heroin.
Delaware.
Delaware, yeah.
I mean, can't you get this heroin across the street? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he was
Manhattan.
so panicked. He was so paranoid about somebody seeing him.
I
He
mean,
drove to another state.
But you know
I
what?
mean,
used
the
to-
one time he was responsible was when he scored his heroin.
But I got to tell you, I used to get calls all the time about all sorts of things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I saw Artie and Bayonne, you know, get cough
Right,
medicine.
right.
You know, so I mean, how far can you go?
Right. It just seemed like a lot of work. Poor Artie was like getting off the air with us and driving to Delaware. And I said, well, why didn't you stock up? Like Keith Richards said he had like a couple of months supply.
Right.
He goes, no.
But I think even
Well,
with-
he always felt like he was only, you know, he was one of the great drug takers.
Right.
He was only going to do it. He didn't realize he was an addict for a long time.
Right.
He was only going to do it that day.
But I think with
and
Artie-
then the next day he had to find it again.
His stories were the greatest.
But I think with Artie, even like everything, like gambling was a high, and I think the drive was like a buzz.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
the drive to
part
get there
of-
was a buzz.
Part of a drug
Scoring.
addict's life becomes how to get it and
Right.
what you go through to get it.
And it does keep you busy. You know, a lot of people are bored when they have time on their hands and they got to sit and think about their life or reflect. It does keep you busy. You got to
Right.
drive, you got to you got to score.
You got to know this person.
actually might slow
You got to
them
be
down.
able to get a hold of them.
All right. Oh, and the people you're depending upon. Like Artie would describe like these guys who like he'd show up and they wouldn't be there and like, they weren't dependable.
Right. Well, they're drug dealers.
Sounded like such a nightmare.
He talked about there was one time he went down to Delaware and the guy wasn't available. Artie
Yeah,
just,
he driven
just
2 hours.
He just drove around the corner for 4 hours, going around the block, like calling the guy and like angry at the
Did
guy.
the
like,
guy finally show up?
yeah, but it was like, hey, what's your fucking problem? I'm here for drugs and you're not here.
You're acting like a drug dealer.
I had a friend who had a problem, and he called his drug dealer, and the drug dealer hung up on him. I was like, you know, now you're at the point where the drug dealer's abusing you. He doesn't even care about your money.
Yeah, it's awful. I was reading these rag magazines. Anyway, Gary, why, you know, don't comment on David Arquette.
I know.
You know, you still have your job that you have to protect our guests and me. But go have fun. And let's see how you do on Letterman so we can make fun of you tomorrow. I think you'll be all right.
I think so too.
Did you do the pre-interview?
Have you got?
I did the pre-interview.
Hello. How'd that go, the pre-interview?
Great.
Yeah, you did that on Friday.
Yeah, did that on Friday. Went great.
Yeah.
Nice woman. We talked for about a half an hour.
What story? Can you give us a preview of some of the stories we'll be talking about? Like, don't ruin them, but
The one thing that I think is interesting that, you know, when you're promoting a book, there's things that you have to deal with, whether you like it or not. So I'm pretty sure
And then last night, I came home from a very long day. I didn't get home till late, and then I got ticked off at Baba Booey, and this book fucking promotion of his is really fucking pissing me off.
Why?
Because he's doing dumb shit. He's being a douche.
What
That's
did he do
is.
now?
Well, he's just thinking of the book every minute and not thinking about his primary job. There's a whole big article in Us Magazine now. Let me see if I brought it in. I probably forgot. I was so fucking angry. I just went like what? All the rules, everything I've taught this fucking guy go out the window because he's promoting a book? What's happened to you, man? You're turning out to be let me ask you.
It's a disaster.
You're a guy who books guests.
Yes.
And you're in Us Magazine with a full page. I understand you want that for your book. But you're booking guests, and then you're commenting on my guests, and it's not necessarily flattering. Even.
No, Howard, the whole thing's a disaster. In fact,
Do you think Rob Burnett, who I happen to be friends with, who is the classiest fucking guy, you want to be in league with, listen, let's say I quit the business, and you want a job being Gelman or Rob Burnett, when do you ever see those two guys in the press commenting on guests and how they do?
everything you're saying is right.
I know.
This is all part of that.
So what do I do? You're out of control.
I'm not.
And then he did something else I don't even want to talk about. That he should have checked with me first on. It was an obvious call. And I don't know. And then it puts me in weird positions. So I don't know. I'm very bummed out about the book. I mean, I'm happy for it. You see, and then people write me
the book
emails.
started out as a good thing, and
No.
now it's turning bad.
No, Gary it is a good thing, and I'm happy for him. And I told him that from the beginning. I'm happy he's got a book deal and all that stuff.
This is a bad thing, Robin. I didn't sleep. That's why I was here when you walked in. I was going to talk to you about it. But
is this the magazine? Yeah, I walked. I could barely look at you this morning.
I know.
I was so pissed.
And I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I'm mortified. So
how come I can't find it?
I don't know where it is. It's somewhere towards the back on the right hand side. I just saw it.
You did?
And what did they do? Just list a bunch
It's a
of
big
people?
picture of Gary and a bunch of our guests and his thoughts on how they do on the show.
Oh.
I don't know the page. I can't find
Here,
it.
give it to me. I'll find it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, please find it so I can yell at you. Thank you. I think that's the right Us magazine. I don't even know.
It may not be.
Maybe not. I think it is. Maybe it's not.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
I was going to say, yeah, that I haven't seen that cover before. It must be new.
Oh, here. Baba Booey's Celebrity Dish. And
Which
the
is
way
not
he
what-
knows these celebrities is through me.
So can I just give you?
Gary
can I just
Dell'Abate.
give you a little setup on it? So
No.
I can't.
I know the setup. The setup is you've got an overly aggressive publicist. Let me guess what you're going to say.
No.
And your
no.
publicist is busy with setting you up with stuff. But, when it comes to this stuff, you shouldn't be commenting on David Arquette, Denise Richards, and what you think. Ashton Kutcher, unless you want to switch roles. If you don't want to be the producer
No.
anymore, go take over Robin's chair and she'll run off with this guy I'm going to set her up with.
No. But I don't
what
think-
do you want from me? I mean, you're out of your mind.
I agree. This was terrible.
How do you get into these things? How does it all go Baba Booey on you?
So the book company says we got a bunch of interviews for you today, ranging
Right.
from
Okay.
NPR to anything, and so
Right.
Us Weekly's on the list. So I start talking to the woman, and she says, "Oh, I heard this guy, heard that guy," and I'm talking, and I keep waiting for the interview to start. Do you know what I mean? Like I literally, and she's like this and that. I keep waiting for the interview to start.
No, the interview started.
I know that.
You
I
mean
know.
they trick you?
Well, I wouldn't say it was tricky. I just
What
thought-
happens when you talk to guests in the green room and you come running in and tell me what they say? I mean, you don't know that they're sitting and listening to you? This guy, he's
That's
doing...
a typical reporter move. Let's have a conversation.
He did it-
And then I'll start the interview.
No, but he did an interview with Pia Lindstrom. And you know what Pia Lindstrom said? I heard it on Howard 100 News. She goes, he's a good interview. You know why? He doesn't shut up.
right.
He just keeps talking and talking.
He doesn't ever stop.
And the guy has a high IQ. I don't even fucking get it. But there's no way anyone in this industry, like Letterman or Regis or any of these guys who are heavyweights, are going to respect you after this. No one respects you. You're talking about the guests in a way that you shouldn't be reviewing their performance. You can't do that.
it's true.
Not you. I know it's fun to be me.
No,
and you're feeling the pressure to go on these shows and talk to these reporters and give them something. Even Beth said to me, she had to interview him. She goes, Gary's a great interview.
Oh, God.
She's-
Gary, you're giving it up to everyone.
I go, is he? Yes, he talks a tremendous amount. I said, oh, good.
Did Beth tell you
She
what-
meant a compliment, but I interpret that like he can't fucking censor himself.
Wait, did Beth tell you what happened while we were there?
What?
Did she mention? So the people from Extra were like, "Hey, listen, we want to talk to you about David Arquette and somebody else." And I go, "I don't really want to talk about that." They were really pressing
Well,
me.
what you say is you say, listen, I'm a producer.
Right.
I work with these people, and this isn't my place. Or you just, you know what, you could have even, if you discussed it with me, you just say, you know what, oh, gee, what do you think of Denise Richards? You know what? our guests are terrific. We love that they come in, and they all do a great job. Boom! Because you're the guy who books
But they
the
didn't
guests.
even ask him that.
Yeah. No, they didn't even.
No.
He offers it up. They weren't even asking him anything. This is before the
No,
interview.
they're asking me about different.
They're just saying, hey, you know, I heard David Arquette on the show.
Here, listen
or
to
I
this.
did this, or I heard that.
Jennifer Love Hewitt. She has not fared well on the show. Wilmer Valderrama rated her an 8 out of 10.
That's not me talking.
And Rich Cronin. Well, I see. They add to it after you say she has not
I
fared
just
well
said,
on
they
the
go,
show.
what do you think? I go, she hasn't fared well on the show. Then they
Go back and look up.
I just that's.
Oh, my God. Ashton Kutcher. He seems pretty together, and he comes on and handles the relationship gossip. He called me once trying to get in touch with Howard, and now they've developed a friendship. I don't know why you have to say that.
I know.
You're the producer. Listen, you know,
That stuff I don't know, Gary. You haven't told me that stuff.
I always said it on the wrap-up show.
Well,
Denise
I don't
Richards.
hear every moment.
I didn't like Denise Richards before she did the show. Now he's, you know, why does he have to say that?
I have said that
Why
on the
do you
wrap-up
have to
show.
say? But why?
I know.
Say it on
This is in print,
I got
Gary.
it.
This is outside of our atmosphere, our
didn't-
universe.
Well, I always said to him, say nothing. I didn't like her before she did the show, but she spoke openly about her past. She's cool, funny, and self-deprecating. I was wrong about her. He was wrong about her. David Arquette. When David called in and talked about the separation with Courtney, he was just being real. Maybe he said too much. Great. I'm in the interview business about getting
and trying to
people
get
to talk.
people to talk, and he's now saying maybe you said too
He's
much.
criticizing David. Maybe he said too much, but at least he got to speak to Howard for 45 minutes and say everything on his mind. You could tell the dude was really hurting.
Oh, God.
That's the same quote from. It's all the same interview.
I see. Well, I don't
know.
care.
I know.
You got to fucking rein it in a little.
And
Enough.
I'm telling you, it's one interview. And,
Rein it in. I just, you know what? It grabbed me, man. It was a long day yesterday.
No, I
And between
understand.
the other thing and then this thing, it's like, come on, man. You know what to do. What, I got to spell it out for you? I think you're getting this. You're feeling so much fucking pressure with this book.
I wish I could tell you that I am because
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm not
but
feeling
then
the
you're
pressure.
just stupid, and I know you're not because you got a
No,
121 IQ.
I was stupid in that interview. I'm telling you, I'm
Yeah.
not feeling the pressure at all. There's, I mean, I'm not saying, oh, I got to say.
Rob Burnett would write a book, or he's got a new TV show he's working on, a new film. But he knows his Letterman place. He knows he can't do that.
Listen, people
He can't.
People in interviews have asked me, this book's about your mother. It's about.
But
this.
it's hard to respect
hold,
you.
Hold on, let me finish the thought.
Yeah.
People said the book's about your mother. It's about this. Why? We were expecting a tell-all book, and I always said I would never write that book. Yet in this interview, I did exactly what I said I wouldn't do.
Right.
And then on top of it, if somebody buys the book based on that interview, they're gonna be very disappointed.
David Arquette's going to read this, get bummed out, but he's not going to get bummed out about you. He's going to get bummed out about me because it's my show. That's why he's going to be bummed out. He might have said too much. Oh, this guy's got no friends right now who are in the media saying that he did the right thing. You're on there saying he might have said too much.
I think I actually said people say he said too much, but it doesn't matter.
All right, what's the difference? Wow. Anyway, I was kind of bummed, man.
You should be. I mean, you should be bummed. I'm bummed.
And don't talk to me about it off the air. I don't want
won't.
to talk about
No,
it.
we talk.
Just never bring it up.
I agree.
Yeah. Don't apologize to me and this. Just come on, get your shit together.
Okay.
It's crazy what you're doing. You never see Gelman do that. I know Gelman's your hero. You think you're going to be taking over
No,
his
Rob
job.
Burnett's my hero.
Rob Burnett's your hero?
He really is.
Well, if Rob Burnett's your hero, call him up privately and say, what I did, is that a no-no? And he'll explain it to you.
I don't need to ask him
Right.
to know.
He'll tell you, since you don't listen to me, let him explain it to you. It's bullshit.
And just realize the moment you start talking to a reporter,
Yes.
the interview started.
I didn't know that. I told him that when he was back at NBC, yapping it up on the phone with all the reporters who would call.
The worst part of that whole thing was so I go, so what else? And she goes, well, that's it. And I go,
Oh, no.
I go,
Yeah.
what about the book? You got a book? You have no questions?
No.
I thought it was good. I really, in my mind, I envisioned a piece like Gary's got a book. Here's a
You
thing.
don't have the pressure of having to be entertaining. You don't. You don't have to be that entertaining. Just be the producer. Be a guy. Be like Lee Iacocca. Be like Mel Walkigan. If Mel wrote a book about his business life, he wouldn't sit and discuss who did well on my show. You got to. You're actually, believe it or not, an executive. Like Tim. Tim would not do that. He wouldn't. He knows.
I know.
I know you laughed sometimes with Tim. He would not do that. You know. He knows the line.
It was a mistake. There's no doubt.
Either you want to be an entertainer or you want to be a producer. You got to choose one or the other.
But if
Can't
you're
be
dealing
both.
with the press, you have to actually know.
Right.
You just got to realize what you're dealing with.
Right. And he doesn't realize. I thought I realized, but I don't.
That was that whole argument I was having with Geraldo on that silly show,
Yeah.
where Geraldo was saying that the reporter should have taken care of that general who was blabbing about how he hated Obama and his war policy.
Well, if they won't take care of a general, they sure as hell ain't taking
Not
care of
taking
Baba
care of
Booey.
Baba Booey.
Yeah.
You're the pit crew for talent.
Right, Tim. Tim will tell you.
Pit crew
You're
for
the pit
talent.
crew for talent.
Yeah, you're the pit crew for town. He's right. You know, all
You're
those
there
stuff-
to make sure that they have the tools in order to do their job.
Ah, the tools. Now I don't have the tools. You know why? Because now when a publicist picks up the phone, they're going to say, you know, David, you don't want to come in. Gary thinks he talks too much. Gary thinks he talks too much. Fucking Baba Booey thinks he talks too much. Forget it. All right, no more talking about this. I'm done.
All right.
But this book, when's it all over? When's the book promotion over? When can I expect it to be done?
Depends on how well the book does. It could be over.
Right.
It could be over by November 3rd,
Good. When is November 3rd?
next
week.
Wednesday.
Good. Be done with it. It's enough already. Look, I'm happy for you. I really am. I know you don't think so. I'm happy. I'm thrilled about the book
I
for
do
you.
think you're happy for me.
I'm excited. It's something exciting that's happening for you. Your story is great. I love the book. But, you know, come on. You got to use your head a little bit.
I understand. But Howard, I do think you're happy for me. Why would you think that I don't think
Well,
that?
because I'm sitting here berating you.
Yeah, but you're berating me for something that I did wrong that isn't the
Right.
book.
All right. But I don't want to berate you. I want you to be like Rob Burnett.
Listen, you're
and
right.
Gilman.
Sometimes people do stupid shit.
What's his name? Gilman or Gelman?
Gelman.
Gelman.
Michael
Be
Gelman.
like him. Be Gelman Jr.
And I like him. He's not my top.
You never
hero.
see this guy. This guy, you know, they put the camera on him once in a while, this and that and the other thing. But he would never comment on how a guest does.
We work
Well-
it together so everybody understands what their, each position is on the field.
Go talk to Tim for an hour. That's your punishment.
We plan our success and we execute the plan.
Right. Tim, the plan is not working today.
We diagram programming, we lay out programming, we have weekly meetings, we discuss what's up and coming, then we execute our plan.
He does, though. He does.
He's a general.
He's a general.
I'm listening to the show.
General Sabian. Now, let me tell you something. I don't regret the day I hired him.
Not at all.
He runs things around here. He's on fire. This is some fucking guy. And I never read about him in Us Magazine.
Our company was very proactive in addressing this issue.
This guy is the greatest program director out there. I don't give a shit.
What anybody said.
I don't care what anyone says. People are saying things. Better than Kevin Riley. There, I said it.
There you go. There you go. That's right.
That's right. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. It's fun talking to him on tape.
Everybody here puts, their blood, sweat, and tears into this product.
All right. Anyway, so I was bummed out about Baba Booey last night. I was going to pick up the phone and call him.
Unfortunate.
Instead, I watched No Ordinary Family. I had
Did that
on.
make you feel better?
Had- I keep getting these memos and calls from my agent. Like, Gary has been asked to be on which one was this?
Today.
Not the Today Show. Like the ESPN sports show. The Boomer Esiason show.
It's Boomer and Carton.
Boomer and Carton?
Yes.
Yeah. Gary's been asked to be on the Boomer and Carton show, but it's on opposite yours. Do you care? And I went, well...
How's he going to be on it if he's here?
Well, I don't know.
It's a Friday.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a Friday. He didn't even tell me that.
Right. It's a Friday.
Yeah, I don't care. But if it's a Friday, I was just saying if we're doing the show, I
Right,
need him
how
here.
can he do that?
No. It's just they just want to know if you minded that I was on a Friday. Yeah,
And I think my agent
I'm leaving the show.
And I think my agent calls because Gary doesn't want to bother me with this, but I'm going to be bothered with it
If
anyway.
somebody's bothering you.
And I have to make I'm going to tell you something. I'm not the president of the United States, but I have to make about 10,000 decisions a day. I'm not kidding you, affecting what people do around here.
Oh.
And I tend to just be like, I'm not going to tell people not to do anything. Everyone's got to know what to do and what not to do. I don't want to be that guy. So I keep getting like different Gary appearance. Do I mind if Gary's, if Gary's interview with Rosie is on our channels? So of course I didn't. I'm happy to have that. In fact, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But there's like 500 annoying Gary book things that I got to deal with. And I feel like I should say no to one of them. I haven't.
I mean, I can ask you this stuff, but then I feel like
Well, you might as well stop having the agent do it.
But then I feel like if you want to say no to something,
I'll say, you know what? I have no problem for some reason saying no to you.
Okay, I just don't want because you used to say don't ask me because then you put me on the spot.
Yeah. Well, just do the right thing. Oh, there he is signing autographs. Sal in his Gary mask.
Wow.
He did alter his voice.
Sal, you should go with Gary to every appearance and wear that. Sal and Richard, up there he is. They call me Baba Booey, signing away. So, anyway, there's a lot of Gary in my life right now because of the book. And I'm all for it. I'm not against Gary writing a book. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's every minute with Gary and decisions of Gary and whether Gary can do this. And I'm like, you know what? I don't fucking know. I don't want to stand in anyone's way. I never did. I never do. I don't even know what goes on around here. I don't even want to know what goes on around here. Until I have to get involved. Like Tim, I let Tim do whatever he wants. And then I find out, you know, weeks later what he's done. You know what I mean? I go, why'd you do that? But I keep my mouth shut because, I don't know. I mean, you got to let other people do things and let them run things. And that's it. Or else you go
if
insane.
You're
You're going to give somebody a job, let them do it.
the job of running things. You got to let them do it.
Yeah. So, I don't know, but there's a lot of Gary in my life right now for some reason. He wrote a book, but there's a lot of Gary in my life. and also, I guess, I'm hoping on some level he makes a lot of money with the book so that I don't have to feel so guilty if I leave this place.
Uh-huh.
That way he'll be all set up. I hope he makes $1 billion. The Mad Scramble is on.
Baba Booey. Baba Booey.
Let him make a ton of dough
Baba Booey.
with the book.
Baba Booey.
Will people's perception of Gary change now that he's an author? Like outside of here?
No.
No? People won't think differently of Gary now that he's written a book?
No. Most people like Scott the Pace are like, big deal.
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
But